Yeah, here
Donuts
we
and
go.
coffee. You got your
Donuts.
coffee and donuts, my friend?
No, I got nothing. I'm broke.
What?
I got
Well,
nothing.
I came through.
You did. You did.
I've got my coffee.
Oh man, I still have not gotten out of bed. I've been awake for 3 hours, just laying here, just dreading my existence.
Oh, stop it.
Yeah.
Life is
Oh,
good,
man.
my friend.
Life is good. Life is good. I can't complain.
Can you hear me
How you-
clear? Is it clear
I
enough?
hear you. Loud and clear, man. Loud and clear. How you
Perfect.
doing, boss? How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Life is good.
Oh
So
man,
how you
work.
liking San Antone?
San Antonio, man. San Antonio is good, man. You know how I always told you I love Iowa just because it's one of those few places that you don't feel any political vibe in it when you talk to people.
Sure.
San Antonio, surprisingly, even though it's in Texas, you barely bump into people who talk about politics who or want to talk about it. Like just people
Yeah.
living their day to day life. Get your coffee, get your donuts, go to work, do your thing. So it's fun. It's because the last thing you want to do, like, just constantly bump into people who want to whine about politics. I voted for
Yeah.
this. I'm like, okay, cool. You have the right to vote, but I still feel sorry for you because you believe your vote counts. So so yeah, San Antonio. I guess it reminds me a lot of Iowa. That people just are about living their lives, do your thing, have fun, be nice. Everyone's nice here. Everyone's friendly. So and good food, man. Good food. And yeah, just the weather. The weather is my only. The only thing I'd complain about would be the weather.
Is it similar to Bahrain, you think?
So the difference between Bahrain and here is that in Bahrain, how we're just rich, spoiled brats.
You guys don't go outside and enjoy the weather, huh?
We just
Stay
don't go
inside.
outside. Yeah, it's hot. Stay inside, and as I said on my previous podcast, that every room in the house has its own AC unit. So the house is like a pop. It's so cold. Everyone feels like a popsicle, even when it's 120 degrees outside.
Sure.
And most activities back home would be indoors, like inside a mall, inside a theater, or something like that. So you never really have to deal with the heat. But over here, a lot of activities are outdoors. So, yeah, last weekend I had a friend over and we decided to go downtown, go to the river walk. And boy, the humidity was so bad, you could barely breathe. It was bad.
Yeah, we got pretty bad humidity here as well in the Midwest, but what do you do? Just
Yeah,
gotta
it
deal
is.
with it.
It is what it is, man. It is what
I
it is,
honestly
man.
don't mind it. I mean, there's times where it gets bad where you don't want to be outside, but I love being outside, and so a lot of times I just deal with it. I mean, there's only one thing to do about it, right? That's either go inside and not enjoy it or move.
You have a point there. You do have a point. I know, and but it is what it is. I guess one thing that I miss here is the lack of four seasons. You kind of just slide right into winter at the end of summer. So there is no fall, there's no spring really. You just go from winter to summer and then from summer to winter, and that's it, which is also just like back home. Um, yeah. So, but I mean, it could be worse. I could have been in Arizona, right? So,
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that's no bueno.
No bueno indeed, man. No
All
bueno
right,
indeed.
man. So you're working at the big bank, huh?
The
JP
big
Morgan
bank. Yeah,
Chase.
yes, that's where I work at, sir. That's who I work for, sir.
Yeah. So how's corporate slavery different
Corporate
from
slavery.
the prince life
Gee,
that you had back in
oh
Bahrain?
my god, oh my god, oh my god. If these guys, okay, um, where do I begin? Work
Right?
ethics, work ethics. Okay, in terms of work ethics, I like the fact that I'm allowed to go to work. No one gives a flying fudge about my hair, my facial hair, what I wear, what I look like, whether I wear my bracelet or not, whether I'm. They don't like. I asked them that when I first joined. They were like, no, we care about how you perform and not how you
Sure.
look.
It's not always been like that though.
I
If you
agree.
worked at a bank 20 years ago, you were suit and tie.
I
Long
know.
hair was not
Yeah. Nope.
accepted.
Nope. No, no,
Tattoos,
no.
bracelets, nothing.
Oh boy, no, no,
Suit and
you
tie.
Oh no, we have people at work with face tattoos. Like, I mean, I don't think you're even allowed in jail anymore with face tattoos. Like, like so that is what makes it a little more acceptable for me, the fact that I don't need to change who I am or how I
Sure.
look like just because you want me to sit behind a desk and get some job done.
Right.
So that's good. And I gotta admit that back home, unfortunately, they still associate your looks with success.
Sure.
If you look a
Sure.
certain way, you're successful, even if you're actually a loser
Well,
and a
but I think
horrible piece of garbage.
that also ties into your guys's preservation of culture, because
Yes, that's true. That
if you are brought up, not to single you out, but you are the black sheep of the family, you
always been.
know, right? They, the in your, it's probably not like this now, but 20 years ago, your community would have thought, what did their parents do wrong
Yeah,
with
yeah,
their
yeah,
first
yeah.
child?
With
Like,
their first child.
what is wrong with this kid?
well,
But
clearly, clearly, whatever they did wrong with me, they learned with the other two because they turned out to be
right.
very successful.
Well, but define success.
Exactly.
I feel
Exactly.
you're successful simply
Thank you.
because
Thank
you don't live, except until recently.
you.
You're not caught up in what Bob Marley would say is the rat race.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's you're living your life how you want to,
How I
and
want
not
to.
based on what other people expect of you.
Exactly.
Up until
Exactly.
recently.
Up until 5 months ago. But
But
again,
hey, isn't that life though? Just going and experience things,
it is.
whether
It is.
how extremely fun or extremely miserable it
Yeah.
is. If you don't
Yeah.
experience, how can you say that you've really experienced
Exactly.
life?
Exactly. So I would say the main thing that made me actually, accept this was the fact that I didn't have to change who I am. I didn't have to change my identity. I didn't have to change, what kind of person I am in
Mm,
order to get this job done. They were like, we don't care. You like to you dress this way, walk this way. That's your hair, that's your face, that's your skin color, whatever. You know what? Get the job done. We don't care. So that was like, that kind of pushed me to, try it and go for it. And slowly but surely, man, it's wearing me out.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I worked in the banking industry myself. I was in credit card debt collections, and so
Yeah.
you're dealing with a negative issue,
Yes. Yes.
and
Yeah.
talking to these people, they don't want to talk to you.
Oh no.
They don't want to hear what you have to say because you're not going to help them really. They've got all these fees and stuff, and you can't take care of them. It's just a negative
Oh man.
situation, and
It, it,
I didn't last long
it,
either.
exactly. In my situation, basically, um so we do check deposit review. Like for
Okay.
example, I deposit a check and then it's on hold because the bank needs to
Verify.
verify certain things. For example, you deposit a check without a legal line or payee line or something like that. You call me angry because your check is on hold, dude. You screwed up, okay? And but I do deal with a lot of funny calls, mostly angry calls, and
Sure.
that's why it's a negative environment or a negative,
Right.
um, you know, career. But every now and then you get one of these funny calls that
Sure.
make you laugh a whole day. But yeah, I definitely don't see myself doing this for a long time. It's
Sure.
not me.
But
It's
they get
really
people
not
to
me.
stay, it sounds like, because for the most part, they take care of their employees. At least financially, they're paid. You guys are paid fairly well, right?
We are paid fairly
The
well.
cafeteria options
Oh
apparently
my
are
god, oh
amazing.
my god, oh
So
my god, it's
you
amazing.
guys got good benefits, but
It's pretty amazing. The cafeteria, for example, we have this big cafeteria, and funny thing, if you want to eat healthy food, like grilled salmon and brown rice and vegetables, you pay $2. But if you want to have a slice of pizza, you pay $5.
you can't
You
get a
know,
$2 salmon at Hy-Vee right now,
dude,
frozen,
dude, dude, you can't buy a loaf of bread for $2.
right?
Okay, so that's kind of cool, and the benefits we get. For example, we got we got daycare on site. You know,
It's free.
yes, if I'm not
Nice.
mistaken, I wouldn't know, but I think it's free.
That's
We got
nice.
daycare on site. Just lots of benefits that we get.
Nice.
And of course, they pay fairly well. If you want to compare us to Denny's and uh,
But you'd almost prefer Denny's.
I
Get
would
immersed
actually.
in the culture and actually talk to
I
people
I know, yeah,
about
and
other than banking.
oh God, yeah, I know. And unfortunately, I get a lot of calls that people do want to talk about personal stuff now, and you want to chip in, but you're not allowed to.
Sure.
You know, you always get these calls like someone asking, "Hey, are you vaccinated?" You know, I'm like,
Well, why
sir,
does it matter if I'm on the phone?
why does it matter? I mean, whether I am or not. Do you want me to release your check, or do you want to know
Right.
who I voted for? Like,
Mhm.
it doesn't matter. And then every now and then you get one of these idiots like, I need to speak to a rep in the United States. Okay, I'm like, uh, okay, I am in Texas. Well, your name. I'm like, what do you mean? What's wrong with my name? It's not an American
I'm
name. I'm
Ed.
like, yeah, I'm Ed. Yeah, call me Eddie. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, but it is what it is. I don't know how long I'll be doing that for, man.
I
Uh,
don't see much
uh,
longer.
I don't. I'm
Knowing you,
drained,
not
man.
much longer.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm drained. The biggest downside is probably the fact that when you go for a long time not working and owning all your time to yourself. I never had to think of the term free time
Hmm.
because all my time was mine, so I didn't need free time. It's all mine. Now I actually have to think about, oh, when am I free to do
Hmm.
this? When am I free to do that? And living with like 3 weeks off every year, like it's no, no, no. My
Welcome to
mom,
America, my friend.
welcome to America.
Corporate
Exactly.
slavery.
Dude, clearly, it's insane how you would kind of have to have a 9 to 5 job for 40 to 50 years and still think you're living an amazing life.
Hmm.
Like,
That's not amazing.
yeah, that's Stockholm syndrome, man. That's
Yes, sir.
yeah.
Yes,
Oh
sir.
man, how you doing, man?
I'm
How's everything
good.
at work, family?
Life's good. Works not too bad. Having small issue, but nothing I can't handle.
That's good. That's good, man. Oh man, I miss Iowa. Everyone here works at like
Whatever.
Iowa. Like,
You just miss me.
oh, that's true. I miss you, buddy. I mean, I would never be in Iowa if it wasn't for you, man.
Right.
Man,
And it's nothing special, but it's wholesome.
it's wholesome. It's wholesome. I love the fact that it's family oriented, man. You know,
It is.
I always make the joke that I hate Iowa because all women are married, basically. Okay, uh, but it's amazing, man. As I guess as you grow older and you grow up, you tend to appreciate family oriented societies more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's something you only get to appreciate as you grow up. So that's why I guess I was one of the least craziest places I've been in this country, and I guess it's probably because it's family oriented.
For now.
For now,
For now.
just wait till you guys get swamped by people from different states, and when they realize that cost of living, and that's what's happening in San Antonio, man. So no state income tax, cost of living is cheap, property prices are real estate property prices are really low,
For
and
now.
for now, and then we've been swamped by people from California who sell their little room in California for $200 million. you
Right.
know and then they show up here in San Antonio, and then they buy 3 or 4 houses, and they're jacking up the property prices, real estate prices. And I'm not, you see, they're not doing anything wrong, they're not doing anything illegal,
All right.
but it's definitely,
It causes an effect.
yes, it's definitely driving the real estate prices, like they're skyrocketing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's crazy, man. So once they find out about West Des Moines, I tell you, these Californians, man, you know, I don't know, they should not be allowed to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's what I hear from people here. I mean, I personally am just renting out a small room, and I actually stay with a family. Um, it was one of the greatest deals that I could have ever thought of. I got my own room; it's furnished.
How many in the
Every-
family?
So it's a single dad with a
Okay.
son and his
Okay.
daughter. His daughter occasionally visits. She's in the military.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
What
So
branch do you know?
she's a nurse.
What branch of the military? Is she Army, Navy, Marine?
I don't understand this stuff. I
there's
don't.
there's different branches. It's if the United States Armed Forces is broke up into multiple divisions, basically.
Yeah,
So
and I realize they don't like each other. You know, like I know Air Force people look down on the Army.
they talk. There's
Yeah,
a lot of crap talk, and
yeah,
I think if the crap hit the fan, they could put their differences aside and come
yeah,
together. And I
yeah,
think in the elite special forces,
yeah.
there's different branches that actually come together to
Oh yeah,
handle
yeah.
some business, like take over, I don't know,
I,
Bahrain and enter
exactly.
enter a different government.
When it comes to invading countries that had nothing to do, or just when it comes to invading Afghanistan or Iraq, like, oh, let's put our differences aside. Let's go bomb some innocent people, right? So, but yeah, no, I don't know. I don't know which branch, but they're all nice people.
Oh yeah,
They're all nice people, super super nice people. I mean, the fact that you trust someone to be in your space in your house and all that.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
How old's the son?
I guess he's 22.
Oh, okay. And he lives there
Yeah,
too.
yeah, he
Okay,
does.
that's
Yeah,
good. So
but
you again going back to your, you know, save for the separate, the split family.
mhm.
The son's living with the dad. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
you guys
yeah.
do that back in Bahrain, right?
Oh yeah, we never get out. We really never get out. And now it's a mixture of culture and the fact that houses are big.
Sure.
Why would you get out?
There's
Why
enough
would you
space
get
for
out?
everyone.
There's enough space for everyone. Um, so there is no point to get out. Plus, considering the fact that property prices in Bahrain and the Middle East are being jacked up now as well. Um, my parents bought the house they live in, I guess back in 1990 for, I believe, $65,000.
Okay.
Okay. Now the house, that same house is probably, I don't know, 800, $900,000. Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, back then they could afford to buy a house, literally cash. Now it's almost impossible to buy a
Yeah. You've
house.
got to
It's
go into
almost,
debt.
you have to go into debt to,
And a
to
lot
buy
of
a
people don't
house.
want to do that because the interest rates are going to be outrageous for somebody that doesn't have
Exactly.
credit enough to buy the house.
Exactly.
So then they rent, and then that then causes a new generation, a new cycle of renters rather than buyers.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
you get even more of a corporate ownership of things, and the corporations then now are making money off the houses and the rent, and the people are not making any money because they have no investment because they're renting the
Mm-mm.
house.
Mm-mm. Nope. Here's the thing: no matter what happens to the market, corporations will always make money. You know, sometimes the little man makes some money, sometimes the little man loses money, but the corporations will always make money.
Have you heard the phrase recently, you will own nothing and you will love it?
No.
You haven't heard that? Look it
No,
up.
I haven't.
I'll
No.
leave it there. Look it up. Otherwise, if I say anything more, this video might not get posted. But look it up. Look that phrase up, and then start digging in. It's insane what they want the corporations to become. I mean, it's obvious here in the United States. Small businesses being decimated.
Oh God, yeah.
There's no way. There's no programs, government programs
Yeah.
to help small
Mm-mm.
business at this point. but yet there's all kinds of money going to big corporation.
Big corporations, exactly, yeah. And you remember the '08 crisis.
But yeah,
Who got bailed? Big banks, big corporations, big pharma. These guys basically were bailed, and these guys were kind of backed up and protected by the government.
right,
But the little man, the little farmer, the little business owner, and all that, these guys were the ones that took the shot.
right.
Um,
So if you have a failing business, regardless what business it is, if you have a failing business, regardless why it's failing, should that business be allowed to perpetually exist if it is failing for a reason, or and allow something else to come up in its place and be better and stronger and learn from those mistakes? Or do you perpetuate the the whatever has failed in that company? Do you perpetuate that and then just keep it floating along?
um, well, if it's failing, something's going wrong, and if
Something's wrong.
something's wrong. I'm not saying what's wrong, but something's wrong, and that's why it's failing. And if you can fix what's wrong, by all means, go ahead, try until you can fix it. But if it's something that you can't fix, um, that's basically saying, for example, if I start uh, a cow butcher shop in India, and then I wonder why this business is failing. Well, dude, because they're Hindu, they don't eat beef.
Right.
Maybe the best thing is to shut down that business. Um, but if let's suppose I just start I don't know, whatever, like accounting business, some auditing and accounting firm, and I'm not doing well. I may want to look into why I'm not doing well, and what might be a marketing. I'm not doing enough marketing, or maybe my prices are too high. Maybe whatever, something like that. So I guess you got to figure out why it's not working out,
Mhm.
but and figure out if realistically it can work out. But I, I'm not a business genius. I wouldn't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah, I don't know. It's crazy how during COVID, um, none of the big businesses around the world went down. You know, but look at how many small businesses are out. That's because big businesses are big corporations will always have support.
Hmm.
The government doesn't want to lose these big names.
Right.
Okay, but if you and I have, like, let's say, a small uh, I don't know, diner or a little cafe or whatever. Um, yeah, any kind of financial downtrend will impact us, and we'll be screwed. Um, but you never hear about any big names: Starbucks, Denny's, Disney World, whatever. These guys never disappear, no matter how bad the economy is.
Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan Chase.
I can't say much about my employer, sir.
I know you can't. I know you can't. All right. Well, what else, man? I think so. This
Dude,
is
dude, everyone's so sensitive here, man.
really.
You guys, man, just I don't know.
Oh,
It's
here
like,
in the States, you're talking.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You guys can't say anything. It's like, what's next? I say water is tasteless. Someone's gonna get angry. You know?
Yeah, it never used to be like that, man. I mean,
Uh,
kind of to a point, but I don't know. I think once you start coddling
when
any
did it start?
situation,
When did it start? I try to go back and think, when did this society become so politically correct or so sensitive to everything, to facts, to reality, to opinions, to thoughts, to opposing opinions? Um, when did it start? I try to go back and think, when did that happen? I don't know. I can't
well,
trace
I
it
think
back.
there's probably different time frames on when a lot of what you said transpired. The sensitivity of society, I think, has been more recent, but the enabling of society has started prior to that. So it's a step by step process, right? So, and I don't know what would come before this, but when you enable something, for example, my kids, right? I enable my kids and take care of them and pamper them. Later in life, there's going to be issues of them being sensitive to things because they've always been taken care of, and that person hurt my feelings or whatever. You grow up, and I'm not saying in a rough household, but strict, disciplined, with a healthy balance of love and nurturing, but not coddling and allowing the child to make mistakes and learn from the mistakes on their own. Same would apply for the government. I think we have a lot of coddling going on and a lot of enabling by a lot of free programs that we have. One then that perpetuates. We reward broken families to an extent. If you are a single mother, single parent of kids, you have access to certain monies and assistance, which I'm not saying we got 10 minutes. I'm not saying that those programs should not exist. I'm saying that don't just blindly give out these in perpetuity, because that's enabling and that's perpetuating the being enabled. And so,
because those programs exist everywhere.
yes, right. But the issue that I have is that the government is in control of these programs and are never audited on these programs. In addition to, I don't think these programs should be set up in perpetuity for an individual, but maybe to expire or start to fall off over time, but at the same time help these individuals develop a skill. Give them free daycare, discounted daycare, or subsidized daycare while they go and work on that skill that they learned. Whatever. I'm no economist. I'm no culturalist, whatever. But I'm cynical. I have a horrible distrust for the government because I think there's a lot of misspent funds. I think I read an article, this was a few years ago, more than a few years ago, because it was when Bernie was running, Bernie Sanders, and he was talking about democratic socialists, and they were running on the platform that socialism, like we'll look at the Scandinavian countries, they are a socialist society, and it's perfect. Well, I read an article where I think it was Sweden. It was I don't know how they do it over there, prime minister, president, whatever.
Prime minister, yeah.
So he came out and said, we are not a socialist society. We are actually a capitalist society, but we do have state-sponsored programs like a socialist society would. People pay into these programs that less fortunate people can tap into in certain situations. But I think where we fall short is we just blindly say, okay, well, we're going to start this program over here. We need $100 billion for this program. We're already broke. Where are we going to get the money? Oh, well, we'll just borrow it from the bank, right? So let's break that down on a smaller scale. I'm just throwing numbers out here. I make $100,000 a year, right? But I spend $120,000 a year in all that I buy and whatever, all my bills, my house, my cars, all that, right? So at the end of that year, I don't have enough. So what do I have to do? Take out a loan or get a credit card to pay for the rest, right? Next year, same thing happens. Well, now I'm paying interest on all the loans that I have. So now I'm spending $120,000 only making 100, but I have to pay back loans and stuff. So now really I'm spending 150 grand a year. So that next year I got to borrow more. Eventually the bank's going to say, look, man, we can't loan to you anymore. But our central bank, they'll loan the government trillions.
Yeah, what's the amount we're in debt at here now? 24 trillion?
I mean, do you trust that number, honestly?
I don't, honestly, I don't. Yeah.
So I've seen some statistics, and of course, you know where my mind is on conspiracy theories and whatnot.
Yeah.
Some of the individuals that I follow, they say with some of the unfunded liabilities, which would be a lot of the programs for Medicare, Medicaid, health insurance, food stamps, all those, probably close to 100 trillion
Sheesh, man.
in debt with all that. But yeah, the scoreboard says 20, 30 trillion in debt. I mean, into the average person, well, that's just a number. You can't fathom that number. That
Dude,
number is so high.
I swear to God, I don't even know how many zeros a trillion has. Is it 9 or 12?
It's 9, I think. So you got thousands, millions, billions, trillions. No, it's 12. Thousands, millions, billions.
Yeah,
yeah, I think it's 12.
Billion is 9.
It's 9. Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus Christ,
right.
man.
Right. And it's desensitizing, you know, because years ago it was hundreds of millions and then in the billions. And, you know, that number was big back then. Well, then once you hear, well, the debt's in the tens of billions and then 20s of billions and then 50 billion and then 100 billion and then 200 billion, these numbers just, they don't register to people. It's like, oh, it's all right. We've been running this debt all this time. No big deal. No big deal. Now we're in the trillions. And people are like, oh, no big deal. It's just the government. We've got money. We just keep it going. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. But what do I know?
So what do I know? But again, I don't see how I need an answer for when did this society become so sensitive to everything?
Sorry, I trail off often.
No, I see all those are factors that could, play a big role. But
I think when the government stepped in and started trying to take care of people, and people fall victim to your Stockholm syndrome. Oh, we'll be taken care of. Well, if Big Daddy Warbucks is paying you, then you're going to do what Big Daddy Warbucks says. So if Big Daddy Warbucks says, if you're a single mother with 4 kids, we'll give you $12,000 a year. Okay, well, that's better than going to work. I can stay home with my kids.
Yeah.
Get free food, free healthcare. Maybe get a job working 2 or 3 days a week for a couple hours to help pay for cell phone or whatever. But I'm sure they got government assistance on that too.